All right, welcome back to part 3 of the shop remodel. We'll go ahead and see what we can update you on this. Starting out, we're going to move this rack as it showed in the last ones. We've got all the 10-foot stuff off of here. Got it thinned down a good bit. This is going to be a plywood rack. Plywood's only 8 foot long. So what I've got planned is we went ahead and moved the wheels up a spot from back here. And we're going to go ahead and just simply cut this off here and make this an 8-foot rack instead of a 10-foot rack. That'll take up 2 foot less room in the other side. So we're good there. We've also made a little bit of progress over here. We've taken a lot of the little stuff and just kind of compacted it back into the wall here so that it stays within the 4x6s that build the frame. And we've pretty well got this rack filled up with all our 10-foot stuff now that was on the other rack that we're moving. And some of this might still end up going out into the Connex building eventually here when I get that other 10-foot rack built. But it's got that done, and we've got pretty much all the taller stuff here. And of course, all this had come from over here. We're getting this ready for the CNC machine. We definitely want to move that here. So we'll be tearing some of this apart, getting it ready. All that wood is now over on the other side piled up. So I think that'll get us a good start. Just a little bit of an update here to start out section 3. We'll get some help out here hopefully in the next little bit and see if we can't have them help me move this thing over after I get it cut down 8-foot length, be a little bit more weight off of it. So I think we'll be all right with it. So we're going to move it on over as soon as some help shows up. We'll catch you in next progress. All right, and it's the next day. Let's go ahead and capture what we had yesterday. We had one interesting feature here. Let me see if I can catch this right there. I don't know how well it'll come out, but there's a poor little hummingbird stuck in my building. I don't know how to get him out. I've left the doors open. You see him up there on the light. I don't know how well that'll come out, but anyways, on with the process. We have got a few things done. Let's see, what else did I not include? We've got the table saw moved over. I think that gives us a little bit more clearance here. The joiner is sitting here. That's not going to stay there. I've got the legs and stuff off of my old table saw. I'm going to reconfigure that, I think, to fit up underneath there, keep that a little bit more mobile. That's really the only thing on this end. Of course, my dust collection is all tore up, so we'll have to redo that. It's not hooked into anything, so we're going to work on that a little bit, hopefully today. I've got the table saw over here, and I think we've decided that we're going to build some sort of a stand off this. So we've got it set sort of in place where it's going to be. It'll be up a little bit tighter that, I think. We've got the planer, I think, about where it's going to end up eventually. The clamp rack, I think, fits back in this little hole pretty nicely, so we're going to leave that there for now. The CNC machine is over here. We need to get, there again, the dust collection set up on that somehow. Get us another setup on that somehow. We'll see how that works. And then we've got, let's see, what's next on here? We got rid of the lumber rack. That's out of here. And we've just pushed this one over a little ways. We've got the panel saw off the back of it. And we've taken that. And I think we've got it moved over here. So it's attached just straight to the plywood rack. So this kind of just makes us a plywood station. Got rid of some of this in here, so that'll leave us room to store something back in here. And we've got a place to put the smaller plywood in the bottom, our big sheets here, sheetrock's beside it. That kind of separates that out. We still have the whole top to set things on. And a couple of little pegs off this side to do that. And I think that'll work out well. It's lined up with the door, so as we bring plywood in through the door, we should be able to slide it straight on in. Pull it over to the saw, cut it up, get it into sizes we can work with, and then it's ready to move. So I think I kind of like that. I think that's where it's going to sit. Haven't decided where I want the dust collector because it does not work well with the panel saw when I've hooked it up before. So we might just retire that to someplace. I don't really need it anywhere right at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. So anyways, for today, We still want to take, I don't know if we'll get there, this cabinet here. I want to get these cabinets off the top of that and get this more of a workbench and see if we can set up some tools around it so that we can use that as an actual workbench and have a tool set up for it. So we'll just have to kind of see how that goes. So boy, this place is a disaster, but things got to get worse before they get better, they say. So onward we'll go, and we'll let you see what happens when we recover the rest of it, and hopefully my little hummingbird will get out of here. I hate to see him trapped in here. I don't know how to encourage him to find the door. I left it open all day yesterday to try to get him out. So we'll see. Maybe he'll leave. Hopefully he will. Talk to you at the next update. Okay, it is the next day. I didn't record anything after yesterday. I can't really remember just how much I got done, but I worked out here all day, so I'm sure I did something. We definitely got the outfeed table of my table saw ready to go. We took this apart and we've added a table up underneath this. Let me see if I can show you a little bit. So this is a kind of a dual outfeed now. I've taken the Craftsman table saw off of the stand and I've built the table so that it lines up level with the other. So this gives me a nice long outfeed. On this particular table saw, we've got the, I like to keep a dado head on this one. We've been doing it like that, but I've had it over in the other shop. This one here, we'll be able to get some dust collection, I hope, hooked up to it. This one also does have a router table hooked up into it also. I like using that. That was my first one I had with a router table. I don't know why every table saw don't have that. Man, that is convenient to have. So I have one on this one, and I have one on that table also. We've got these pieces of equipment. I don't know if this is the way we're going to end up leaving them or not. The bandsaw, I like that idea. It looks pretty good. The sander looks like it's kind of in place with the dust collection. I'm going to be able to hook all this together, I believe, without a whole lot of trouble. I've still got to figure out where I'm going to get the dust collection for these two items. This one kind of rolls around a little bit, but I'm thinking that I want to keep this one in-feed, out-feed clear, so I think I can do that. And then the bandsaw, of course, it has to be in-feed, out-feed. The other two don't, so they're set back out of the way. I think I like that setup. I think I had the wall and all removed from this yesterday, didn't I? I did take this off. I think I had that done. If not, well, there it is again. The wall has been removed, so we can turn the bandsaw that direction. I think that the cabinet here, yes, the shelves that were on that are now sitting on the ground. And I have got the table here. It's full of a lot of stuff right now. Trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with this. I'm kind of thinking I might make this thing a real work table. I might take some more stands away. We're going to think about this a little bit. But these router tables, I'm not real happy with a Bosch router table. It is not a 4-post, and after you have a 4-post hanger for your router, these are not what you like. It has one center thing, real difficult to reach up underneath there, unlatch everything so that you can raise and lower your router blade or your router bits. Don't like that. I don't really need the table here. I think I can do something with that. They're at different heights, so that makes it a little awkward on both of them, even though I have two of them. One day I'm probably going to take these out and put a 4-post in there. I know it's a lot of router tables. That's 4 of them in the shop, but it's nice to set them up and have them ready to go. A round over bit, a dado bit, a whatever. If you're making drawers, the styles and all, you can set them up on a couple of different tables and not have to try to reconfigure every time you do it. So anyways, those two could go in the table, I think. Build it in and make it usable. This one could also, the only other tool I really need is the sander. It needs to be set at one end where I can do the in-feed, out-feed. So I think I'm going to kind of concentrate on that pretty good today. I might get into some dust collection, like I say, over here. I do have to get something set up for the table saw here. I'll be cutting a hole probably up underneath there. I've got the old trough that come out from under there for dust collection. I might set that in the base and then be able to hook my hose up to that and see if I can't get a little bit of dust collection. This saw is not set up real well for it. There's a hole on the front. The whole back is open and exposed. That's kind of why I got rid of it to start out with. But we'll close this up, and I think we'll be able to make it work. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll see how far I make it. I hope I haven't repeated any of my other stuff on the last update. I do have a bunch of wiring over here hanging. All this is safe still. It's just it's hanging. I've got to reroute all that to get it power back over here somehow. So we've got some work to do. We'll just go ahead and get started on it, and we'll go back over it again probably tomorrow morning, maybe. We'll see. Anyways, that's the catch up and update for this one, and we'll chat with you as soon as I come up with something else interesting. All right, and just like that, we're on the next day. We're going to go ahead and see what else we got done yesterday. This is the next morning, and it's a little cool in the shop. 66 degrees, definitely first part of September, and it's cooling off fairly quickly. 7:30. I've already had a couple other little things done this morning, so I'm getting a little late start out here. I'm not really going to do a lot here because I don't have a whole lot of time today, but yesterday we took this cabinet that was above the panel saw, or on the back side of the panel saw, and we've moved it over here to store stuff in. Got to do a little door alignment and that kind of thing. Kind of just got it tacked up there. Of course, with that being up there, we've got a mess here. This all needs to be cleaned up. Man, it's still a disaster around here, but we are making progress, I promise. I've still got all my wiring laying on the floor. We'll get that run eventually here. I think we did make enough progress yesterday to determine what else we need to do. I think I'm starting to like the layout of the tools. I think I like this hooked up. It's got the dust collection sort of there. We'll tighten that up. This other dust collector here, I don't need here. I think I'm going to move it over to accommodate these other tools. On the table saw that we got put in place yesterday, we went ahead and cut in the bottom of it and put in a thing so we can connect the dust collector to that. My workbench here, I actually have an outlet up underneath here that I use the plug for this extension cord that's dropping out of the ceiling. We've been powering that up with that. I'm going to change that around a bit. I want to power that up with real power. I've got some conduit here, so we will drop this out of the ceiling and get it to there. All our dust collection ports will have to be started to work in. I believe we'll be able to drop that down, tee it off, pick this, the table saw, the router over here on the table saw, the band saw, this sander will probably all come off of that. And I also want to run another pipe down across the floor, and that'll come up through and pick up the table saw here behind us. I need to get the conduit. We're going to have to run some the wire over, drop it down, and get the power over here to the table saw again so I can remove the power cord coming from the ceiling and put that down here. I don't usually like a lot of stuff on the floor, but it seems I'm going to have the dust collection, the wiring, everything needs to get over to this bench. I think we're not going to go through this area anyways with all that going on, so I think we're going to pretty much just leave that on the floor, and we'll put it in conduit. Anything that needs to be protected, so we should be good there. So we've got, like I say, the table saw I think is pretty much where I want it. The dust collection is ready to go. I have a plan for the electric on that. I have to come up with dust collection for these two items. Not sure exactly how I'm going to pick that up, if I'm going to try to drop it out of the ceiling or just what I'm going to do. I may take that one and just extend it over here and drop it down and use it between these two. I've been doing that kind of over on that side of the shop anyway, so be probably about the same thing. Just take it and move it over here and reattach it. Probably take care of those two. I will then need to work on this. We've got worked in the old bench. We've cut the thing out, made some shelves underneath it, so this will give us some good work area. All the tables are exactly the same height, so I don't have to worry about one hitting the other as we pass them through. We've got a little bit of workspace beside them. I've got the old dust collector box here. I'm Not positive we're going to use this or not. I think I'm going to get rid of at least part of it because I don't need that many. I've got the 2 router tables and the sander here, and I also think my joiner's going to reside over on this side. It's on wheels now, so I can move that around as needed. But that kind of clears that up. So we've got everything in line here. I think will work wonderfully. We've got the table moved over here up against the wall. We'll clear all that mess up when we get the air, all those hoses hooked up to something. I think that's about all on that. Looking like it's coming together. Dust collection on this side, like I say, probably will bring, I don't know, maybe this one, or maybe I'll put a T right here and bring it over. When I come down to here, we'll bring a T over maybe and drop a line down to connect to all these. We'll kind of see how that plays out. So got a little bit of planning on that. We still got to get power to this bench somehow. Probably going to power the whole bench and then put a receptacle someplace on it so we can just plug everything into that. None of these are going to be used probably all at the same time anyways. So got to look at the load on that, make sure we don't overload a circuit, but I think that's probably what we'll end up with, pulling off a circuit someplace and getting it over here. So lots of planning that way. I've ended up with a couple of extra roll around things here because now all my tools are mounted in the bench. We don't have to worry about those. I'll have to find someplace to put them or do something with them anyways. So that'll be a quick cleanup. Dust collection on the CNC machine has to be hooked up. So really, I guess what we're saying as of today, everything's pretty much, I think, where I want it. It's just a matter of running power and dust collection to everything and getting it cleaned up, organized, and make sure it all works together. So that's kind of the update there. We'll go ahead and get all that worked up, see how she works, and then once we get her finished off, we'll do a full shop tour again to show the completed efforts, I think. So we'll call that good on this video. And the next one should be a full shop tour of the newly reconfigured and set up and working shop. So appreciate it. Hope the process has kind of kept you interested, and we'll see what it looks like at the end. Appreciate you checking it out. Make sure you check out the final one when it comes out, and we'll see y'all on the next project.